Hi. Hi. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my voice these days, man. I'm so, like, scrungy. I'm so scrungy all the time. Scrungy. Hello. Little bit of a low energy stream today. Because I'm tired. I mean, I'm not tired. It's just the holiday season is a fucking emotionally taxing time. You know? Used to be cool. Used to be cool, but it's not anymore. Hello, whole wheat bread. Hello, Deli. Hello, Gluvav. Hello, Gradrid. Hello, Viggle Pickle. Hello, we Aurora. Hello, Kaggle Rock. Hello, Ash. Hi. So I will say, I'm beating back the seasonal depression. You know, I'm beating that back. That's getting its butt kicked. It's MSQ. Look. So this isn't where we left off last time because I played a couple of quests off stream. Basic catch up. We found this guy sneaking around trying to steal supplies from the camp. We were like, hey, take us to your leader so we can, you know, have talk. And then the leader was like, Lamau, I'm gonna put shock collars on your friends. And now we're their prisoners. So we're prisoners of the First Legion right now. Because yeah, and Alphino and Alizé, if they do anything suspicious, they'll get shocked with a shock collar, which is not nice. But you know, we do the best we can. Hello, Olaf Bottle. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. And now he's gonna torture us or something. I don't fucking know. Will you ask? No, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collar. Nor would I tell you if I did, and if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. Wait, what the fuck? So do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Yeah, they're very little guys, and I like them a lot. They're my children. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries, understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation, and above all else, don't use magics of any sort. The day where they're no longer small, I don't ever want to see them grow up. I don't ever want to see them grow up. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphino and Alizé will pay the price. Okay. You came with Jullus, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans for Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit, but that comes at the cost of its normal function. Oh, so that's why the aetherite doesn't work. It's you, Belrali Songbird! I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens as though they were nothing to you. Maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. Yeah, she's not wrong. I did. Yeah, we do. We have murdered a lot of people. Like, a lot of people. You know? Well, I say murder. Is it murder if it happens in battle? Considering how strong we are, yes, I'd say it's still murder. So cold. It's like, and then you did it again and again. She's like, I was there on the night the Praetorium fell, and then you just kept doing it again and again and again and again. You kept doing it. You'd carry a different weapon each time. Once a day, every day, you'd come back to the Praetorium and kill a whole bunch of people over again. This is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Maybe it is. Actually, yeah, that might, maybe it is. Maybe the hope that Varys would return is what stops or is what slows the tempering. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Ugh. Damn. All the sutures. All the times, the worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, would be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape, took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then... Night fell, and we gathered around the radio, then the roar. The terrible roar. Capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but body broken, a soldier in name alone, I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. Ouch. Wow, they really went for the throat with this one, huh? Sheep. Did you learn anything of note? Then your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at the greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there is precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Okay. Can do. You bet. Let's see what anyone else has to say. No matter what may betide, I have my daughter, and that alone shall keep me from succumbing to even the darkest of nights. Vengeance of Iron, thank you so much for subscribing for 2 months. I appreciate that a lot, thank you. Thank you for continuing to support the stream. This is just like a little girl. I've never been this cold or this hungry in all my life. While Garlemald was built on a frozen waste, the city itself was always warm, inviting place. Now all we once had is in ruins. Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well. Ah, thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Ooh. Would you stay with me a little longer? Hold my hand. Yours is so much warmer. Oh. Oh, fuck. Here we go. I will sit with you now. Bro, I don't want to move. I don't want to leave him now. Oh. Oh. Oh, jeez.
Poor Fabius is tired.
No. He looks so young as well. He looks so young. He's literally just a little boy. Oh, Thank you, Malthana Green, for the 6 months, and thank you, Strange Dispenser, for the 4 months. Thank you. He's 12? Flavius? Oh. I'm going to sit closer to him. I can't bear this. This shit sucks. I am in immense pain. This is me right now. I don't like this quest line. Oh. God damn it. Those you met fare no better. I was afraid you'd say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they're not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him, though we need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people here barely have enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept, some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've got a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. Dude, the propaganda is so, it's so set in. Like, this war has ruined everything it's touched. The Empire ruined everything it touched. Even its own people, they may not be tempered, but they may as well be. You know, they're just tempered by another name. And just when you are brought up to believe so wholeheartedly in the power of your authoritarian state, even after it crumbles, people still cling to it. They cling to the promise because they don't have anything else. You know? Like, nationalistic authoritarian regimes, they rely on their people seeing no other alternative than the way that, than the story that they're promised. You know? And it just ruins everything, you know? It's ruined everything that it's touched. Tempered or not. The Garlean people are... The Garlean people have been shown a way and convinced that there is no other, because that's what their empire relies on. That's what, you know, authoritarian empires rely on, is you seeing no other way. And so even, you know, and this leads to such a... They have such a hatred of the enemy, and... Ugh. This sucks. War is hell. When people say war is hell, this is the shit they mean. Like... Yeah, they have no gods to turn to. They only have their leaders. You know, they have nothing but the Empire. They have no faith beyond the Garlean Empire. They have no, like, nothing else to cling to. They don't have any, like, philosophy outside of the Empire that they could turn to. There's no culture that they could turn to outside of the militarism of their empire. All they have is the Empire. All they have is conquest and imperialism. That's it. Like, imagine growing up in that. Wait a second. Wait a second, I'm British. I did grow up in this. Wait, hang on. Yeah, and they, like, the story is so easy to sell to them because they did come from a terrible place. Yeah, they don't create any support communities, like, they stamp out other cultures barely survive. There's just nothing. There's nothing except the legions, you know? They have no directions or like nothing to look to apart from their legatus or their commanders or, you know, their fucking centurions, I guess. I don't know, like their emperor. And all of that propaganda and just, you know, top-down sociological pressure is just has for all intents and purposes tempered them just by a different name. And even, like, you know, even we, like the Warrior of Light and the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, we could easily have been that, you know. And, like, we didn't even realize, you know, it's like the fact that, like, no one, because the Empire's always been the enemy, you know, and all Imperials have just been the enemy, with the exception of, like, the good few, you know, like Gaius eventually, with, like, Werlet and stuff, and Sid and, you know, Nero. Ugh. Yeah, there's no culture, there's nothing. There's nothing for them other than their emperor and their military. You know? And it's like... just being just a normal person under that is... You're being a normal person under that and then having it just ripped away. By itself. Ripped away by itself. Like, it's really interesting that, like, we didn't really defeat the Garlean Empire. The Garlean Empire defeated the Garlean Empire. Like, it killed itself in a civil war. And now what do they have? Nothing. And so they just sit here still because they can't think of anything else to do. Because what else is there for them? You know? They are people that come from a wasteland. You know? Once they've taken away all the great magitech and all of the infrastructure that an empire afforded, and all of the conquest and the foreign goods and imported stuff and you know, imported labor and people that they built their empire off the backs of, once all that's gone, there is nothing left for them. Because they literally live in a fucking wasteland. All there is left is metal and snow, and that's it. Can you believe people say that this arc is like, people on fucking Twitter say that this Garlemald arc is meant to be like apologist? There is no bigger indictment of imperialism than what we are seeing right now. Like, sympathizing for just the ordinary fucking people on the ground of this thing. Like, it's showing that, like, the Empire didn't even serve its citizens. Like, the Empire served nothing, no purpose, has no legacy to leave behind. It couldn't even make its people survive. The one thing it's supposed to do, protect its citizens, it couldn't even do that from itself. Holy shit. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telophoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telophoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before the reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. Can't wait to see how well that goes. So, did he agree to it? No. You will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. This isn't to make us feel sorry for the Empire, but rather to feel sorry for the people and the effects of war and complete collapse has on anyone. Well, yes. It's to show that the Empire hurt everybody. Like, even its own citizens. Like, in the end, no one benefited. Like, absolutely nobody. Except for, like, maybe Xenos. Like, you know. You know, except for maybe Xenos and the Asians. Like, people whose entire purpose is to sow chaos to bring about, you know, the end of the world. Like, you're a lot more trouble than you're worth. Once we're outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. But yeah, it's like, it's meant to show you that, like, imperialism helps literally no one. Even its own people are suffering because of it. I think it's so important that we didn't defeat the Gallian Empire. Like, it's such an important detail. Because, like, it's such an important detail for this story that, like, the Gallian Empire ended itself. You know? Like, even going as far as the Bojan resistance. I can find my, if I can find my collections. Where's my collections? Where are they? They're in character, are they? Duty? Collection. Field record. Like, the very last one, fucking Noah Van Gebrandt, he's dead, by the way. I think. Like, I'm pretty sure he's literally dead. Yeah. Like, he fucking dies? Like, after the, you know, after the fucking, like, after, what you call it? The Dalriada. After the Dalriada falls, fucking Leon kills him. Like, Leon fucking betrays him and kills him. Like, even the main bad guy of the Bozja questline is killed by someone in the... by somebody in the Empire. Like, it all just comes crashing down. You know? Like, for real, it's just, it's so fucking funny. Like, it's so funny, like, how clear the messaging here is. That, like, the Empire was not a good thing. The only people it served were the people on top. You know? All it did was provide a few people short-term power. Like, this expansion is just everything, like, from 5.0 onwards about the Garlean Empire is just decay. Like, it's decay, it's rot, and it rots and breaks itself. Like, it's just a self-fulfilling, like, spiral of destruction. Like, automatic destruction, you know? It just does it by itself. It destroys itself. We don't do it. And that's so important now, because now we can move on to, like, what's actually true about the aftermath of an empire falling. Is how it affects just the people on the ground, you know? The people who are, like, you know, the people who drive the trucks, you know? The people who fucking run the till, you know? The people that drive the train. Like, the people that broadcast the radio, you know, just, like, people with no power, you know, just, like, children and families that, you know, didn't choose to be born there. You know? Just, yeah, and people who, you know, served the Empire because that was all they knew how to do. Even people as young as, you know, Flavius over here and, like, and Poppaea and all that. Like, just, you know, they join the army because what the fuck else do you do when your entire culture is military? You know, you ever think about, like, how aggressively the US Army recruits people? Like, you know, imagine that, like, turned up to 10. Like, imagine the US Army recruiting, but, like, turned up to 11, you know? Like, and it's just your entire culture. Like, even if you're not in the military, chances are if you grew up in, like, you know, at least in Britain and certainly in America, you probably have a certain reverence. Even if you don't think you do, you probably do have a certain, like, level of reverence for your armed forces. It's so easy. Like, it's so easy. Especially, like, when you grow up in, like, empires, or old empires in the case of Britain, like, you know, one that doesn't exist anymore, or in the case of America, currently the biggest, like, modern day equivalent to an empire, which is a superpower, which is basically just an empire in all but name. Like, you know, imagine how, like, if it's that fucking hard to, like, detach yourself from being attached to your nation's military in, like, a supposedly free country, imagine what it's like under this kind of regime. You know? And look at the tower! The tower is literally built out of the husk of Garlemald. It's empty, look. It's devoid of color. The windows are dust. It's sand. It's nothing. It's literally an empire built on sand. Like pillars of sand. Look. It's pillars of dust and sand and grains. It's literally just this malefic thing. Just coming out of the ground, like this bastardization of the earth, just coming out of the ground, pointing towards the heavens with this malice, glowing with discontent. And it's literally made out of the empty husk of the capital of Garlemald, like the capital city. You know, the messaging is not subtle here. I don't understand why people think this is apologist. Like, I really don't. It's a structure made of bodies, just like the Tower of Zot was. The Tower of Zot was like had a lot of stuff in it that that implicated like the imagery of, you know, elephants, like trunks and ears, and like it was everywhere in the Tower of Zot. This one, the Tower of Babel. It's also literally called it's called the Tower of Babel. It's called the Tower of Babel. In case you didn't understand who this empire was based off of. In case, you know, everyone having Roman names and like things that, you know, things being sorted into legions with centurions and, you know, everything being named like Latin naming conventions. In case you didn't realize like who this was based off of, this is literally called the Tower of Babel. They're the Holy Roman Empire with like a little bit of the British Empire sprinkled in there. Anyway, God, Alizé. And like, I know that Babel is, I know that Babel, the Tower of Babel is in like, I think it's Final Fantasy IV, I think. The Tower of Babel exists, and then this is the reference to that, but that tower is based off of the Tower of Babel, like, from the Bible. Like, it's literally, like, B-A-B-I-L is, like, literally, it's just a deliberate misspelling of Babel, like the Tower of Babel, like the biblical story. Which is even more interesting, because Garleans don't have gods of their own. So the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Zos Galvus. Their god was the emperor, yeah. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the can't read. The rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum must have been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see then. With your permission, we will commence the search. Nod. Oh, God. Dude, the way people fucking read this game makes me so angry. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, just as Julius said. People just don't look under the hood. Well, no, they try. They just don't do it in a way that is like constructive. Like they think they think that they're having a deep reading by coming away with it with something that's easy to grandstand about. Or by coming out with something that's like, that you can easily say like hot take, that they can feel special for them to like, you know, because they're like, oh, I did it. You know, I came up with this. And usually it's actually very surface level because people don't really have like the reading level for this. Like people don't have the reading level to just like actually analyze what something is trying to say. They just kind of like take how something initially makes them feel on the surface and then act like that is how you analyze media. you know? The contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina armed with... Okay, and I think that this is I think that the issue with this is that a lot of people who play this game and then talk about things like this on sites like Twitter tend to consume mostly, like, children's animation. Like, I don't want to be mean and just say that that's the reason, but I feel like it contributes. The fact that people don't really... Like, a lot of the, like, fandoms that have ended up kind of converging onto Final Fantasy XIV tended to come from people who, you know, liked animation, and most animation is for kids. And so, like, the nuance is hard to find in those. Like, things are pretty surface level, you know? Things tend to be pretty surface level, and like we basically just like got to, you know, the take of like, oh, Steven Universe is fascist apologism because the diamonds don't die at the end, and then just never moved on from that level of analysis, like ever. Just like never moved on from that level, like you know, like just like people argued at that level and then just keep doing it forever. Because like I don't know why. I have no idea why. I think it's a combination of maybe like people not, maybe like a failure of like English literacy, not English literacy, but like literature in general, I guess, because it's not, it can't be specific to English, like the English language, but maybe it is. I don't know. I only speak English, so I like I don't know. But like you know, like literature, education, you know, like kind of failing students in a way, because it tends to be like a very stiff, like you stiffly analyze, you know, classic texts that aren't really relevant anymore. And like maybe the fact that people that kind of turns most people off like academic reading, not academic reading, but like analyzing literature and like studying literature at like an academic sense, that turns people off, and then they don't do that, and then they end up like trying to, you know, find deeper meaning in the art that they consume, because they obviously it's there. And I don't know, but like maybe it's a failure of education. I have no idea. Like I don't know why people on social media read media the way they do, but they do, and it's insufferable, and it's weird, and I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can walk away with the idea that we're supposed to think that the Garlean Empire wasn't all that bad. Like, you know? They're like, I can't believe, like, I don't understand why people come away from this arc thinking that we're supposed to see Garlean Empire as less bad. You know? Rather than it just being like having some compassion for the people that lived into it. It's kind of an imperialistic mindset to find this apologistic in a sense. You still have to view these people as unforgivable and the enemy and responsible for the Empire down to his last woman and child. You're bad for making me feel bad about any aspect of my enemy, even the parts which are never my enemy, to be militaristic. It's the exact propaganda you described. Well, no, like it is though. Because think about who reads it this way. Like most people that you will find reading it that way will be Americans. Terminally online Americans, but like, you know, we live in a very America-centric internet, you know? And so it tends to be that like people view things from a very America-centric lens. And yes, like it absolutely is a colonialist mindset to view even opposing empires to you as entirely evil down to its citizens, like down to the people that just happened to be born there. You know? Because that's not me saying that the Garlean Empire was good. Again, this is very clearly meant to make you think, holy shit, the Garlean Empire was terrible for everybody. Some people are contrarian or jaded. I think, and that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair to be jaded. Like, it feels good, it's cathartic. And it's a catharsis that I think some people need to be able to point to just like a concept like imperialism and be like, this is the problem, because it is. Like, it is the problem. I think it's completely, people are well within their rights to kind of want to have that kind of anger validated, but you know, having it, but like maybe looking for that validation in a fictional video game isn't maybe the best way to do it. Maybe just like, you know, trying to find that validation by screaming about a fictional empire that is meant to explore the ways in which authoritarianism affects populations in easily digestible ways, so that a story can be told, so that a lesson can be imparted to you, or an idea can be imparted to you, isn't the way to do that. Maybe. You know. Anyway. This contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations, but on closer inspection it seems to be no more than a children's slide. That is funny, isn't it? How even the children's playground is all grey. It's all grey and metallic. You know? This doesn't exactly look like a fun, inviting swing set, you know? Let's analyze the swing set now. No, it's, you know what I mean? It doesn't look quite like a, you know, if I saw this, it's all a bit brutal, isn't it? You know, it's a little bit brutalist, maybe. English Lit GCSE student over-analysis of a Garlean swing set time. True. I mean, I could totally wax poetic for hours about how the swing set represents the static nature of Garlean culture. The metal being cold to the touch, just as the Garlean Empire is cold to even the cries of its own citizens. There's no fun, only service. I think we're going on the we're on the path to like 40k level right now, I think. Shop counter. Even this looks like a furnace. Like... Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant's stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at. Shopkeeper. There is nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other device that we feel by cerulean. Sheesh. Because like the thing that this is this is happening is that like it's important that this is kind of a post-fall of the Garlean Empire, because the time for compassion wasn't, you know, when we were fighting to free Alamigo. That wasn't the time for compassion. You know, nor was it the time for compassion when we were fighting to free Dalmasca or Boscia or any other place that the Garlean Empire had invaded. But right now we're the invaders, you know? Which sounds, you know, flippant to say, but like we have now invaded them after they're defeated. Like after the I can sit on the swings. Oh, let's go. Like after the Garleans have been defeated, that's, you know, like there's, they're not fighting back. You know, the Garlean Empire, like, outside of the Telophoroi, they're not fighting. They're not an army anymore. They're just, like, a broken system of, like, the remnants of a dead society. You know? They're the remnants of a society that has fallen. You know, they can't really do any more harm. They're, you know, even their own homeland is in ruins. Now's the time for compassion. You know? The time for compassion is this moment. Not while we're fighting, but after. This is after the fighting. This is after the fighting. Now is the time for the compassion, and you can sit on the swings, and this is the best game ever made. I love this game! Yeah, it's like, the time for compassion wasn't when, you know, Garleans were enslaving people from Othard, or Alamigo, or, you know, selling people back to the Garlean Empire, or not selling, but, like, shipping people back to the Garlean Empire to do manual labor, or when they were, you know, conquering cities and erasing cultures. That wasn't the time for compassion, but right now, this is the time. It's like when everything, like when the fighting has stopped and the Empire is in ruins, like the systems at play that kept the Empire running are gone. That's when you show compassion. You know, because like what fucking harm are they gonna do? When us showing up and solving their issue without them asking is kind of an Empire intervention. Well, that it is though. That's the thing. Like, it is. It absolutely is. This is absolutely, like... And I think that's probably, like, what we're trying to teach the twins right here, is that, like... Sometimes maybe it's better not to help. Like, it's better to not help, but... It's better maybe to... Rather than try to solve everyone's problems, quote-unquote, for them, it's maybe better to let them solve it themselves. Or, like, help them... guide them towards a solution that they can then have themselves. I feel like that's what Alphino and Alize are learning here, because, you know, they aren't going, because they're not going to accept our charity. It's not within their culture. They won't accept charity, certainly not from us. We're their enemies. You know? It's like, and I would absolutely say that, yeah, like coming in here, thinking that we can just stroll on in, you know, thinking that we can just stroll on in and solve all their problems for them, that is absolutely an interventionist, like, colonial kind of mindset. Because you gotta remember, like, we're not, like, the Grand Company of Eorzea could very easily become an empire. Like, you know, we have, like, you know, we're not like, you know, we're not like a small beaten down group of rebels. We are militaries, you know? It would be like France swooping in to rebuild Germany after, you know, like after the Second World War or something, right? Like, it would be like, you know, if like Britain and France and Russia decided to get together and like all just like walk into Berlin and be like, here, we've got barrels of oil, would you like them? We're here to help you now. Like, yeah, like, we're here to solve all your problems. Just give us the power to solve, like, you know, just let us have our way and we'll make everything better. It's like, that's still colonialist in a way, I think. I'm not really sure because I'm not too well learned about it, but like that still reads to me as like, yeah, absolutely. The twins still have a point because, like, yeah, like it's still making an indictment of the fact that like these people have nothing left except this like false hope that they've been given by their empire, and they're still clinging so falsely to that faith that they have in their military and in their leadership, because they don't have anywhere else to turn. And that fraught refusal of help, you know, obviously is going to get them killed. Is going to get them killed. It's not like, yeah, it's not like a black and white thing. It's nuance. There's nuance to this. Like, there's nuance to this. The twins are absolutely right in the sense that yes, like we need to help them, otherwise they will die. Like, you know, we need to do what we can to help them. But like right now, what we're doing now is we're kind of helping them help themselves. Because it's like, yeah, it's all well and good. You give someone, you know, you give like this group of survivors the fuel they need to survive. But what happens when they run out? Do you keep giving it to them? Because now they're relying on you. Like now they're relying on you to help them continually. Nuance in my animated video game smells like politics. And it's like, that's fine for the short term, but for the long term, that's not a good thing to do. Like, that's not a way to build a society, you know? And certainly they wouldn't want that, because generally people want to be able to stand relatively solo, like on their own. Hi, Poya. Yes, no, get out of here. Don't spot. No, don't look. Don't look. Intermission, don't look. Go away. And I hope you're doing good, Poya. And oh my god, when I'm done with the fucking MSQ, I swear to god, I will hit you up for Phasmophobia or League or anything. Because I really want to play more. I want to play more Phasmo. I'll hit you up for games. I swear. I swear! But yeah. Anyway. I'm turning into my girlfriend. Like, I'm taking an hour to do one quest. Oh, it's you. Any luck? Big head. There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help notice you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes. I mean, no, Oh. It's just I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated up to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they had to just wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. And every time when we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. Pond was heated. With a cerulean-powered heater by chance? Suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath the hatch. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Alize, no! Alize, no! Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? I thought Alize was just going to dump in. The average Guardian would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has a few foreign Siniferi and Medici. Medici? Signiferi and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. But I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now? Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. There's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? Ugh. Step aside while I drink the pond dry. That way we'll find it in no time. Yes, I shall drink the pond. Alfredo, fetch me a straw. That may be the stupidest thing I've heard in a while, and that's saying something considering who my brother is. Can't fault your enthusiasm, though. Let's do it my way first, and if that doesn't work, perhaps then you can try your method, with Alfred's help. I mean, I can breathe underwater, so I'm all good. The icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Ugh. Ah! Oh no! I bet it's gonna be over here. This one. Yes! Oh, I'm a genius. Aha! Some air. I have found an empty piece of air. Great job, Belrally. As you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Oh my god. I love you, Belrally. Look, I've got like a whole fucking bunch of gear. Ooh. Did you find anything? I hope you did. I did! That's it! And there's still some ceruleum left. Ah, the fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphino a hand. Okay, I'm kind of warming up to Julius a little bit. Like a little bit. Call me an old Don, because by fire I am reborn, and my clothes are mostly drying out too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus' eyes you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he'll be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine and so much more. During even the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the light in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, out of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite the ice would melt, and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Grey clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sun rise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubbled, those friends are dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Sheesh. It do be rough out here. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search just outside the park. As you can see, this place is listed with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We've decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prize them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing and using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering though, you should check the machina's ceruleum gauge to see if any is left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. On destroyed Magitech armor. Okay. Got a big lad. And his fuel tank is empty. Okay, well, that's not useful. Appears to have been broken. Okay, let's find some more before we use... Actually, no, wait, we can just go and ask him for more, can't we? Still half full, or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Either way, Julius will surely be pleased by your discovery. Yes! Yes! I don't know how you could have run out, considering there was only 2. Maybe there's more if you go searching somewhere else. More explosives. Wait, is that what I think it is? That was the weirdest line read I've ever done. More explosives? Wait, what? More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? You've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alize and Alphino are faring. He remembers their names! Can't wait for Julius to fucking give his life to save Alphino and or Alize. Hi, Livy. I am doing great, and I hope you're having fun with Final Fantasy.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Alifode and Aliphaze.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen.
You're working on your fishing? Aw, nice. Fishing is good. Fishing is a good pastime in 14.
After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside.
It's probably the smartest decision you've ever made.
Sometime later, when we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
Because I'm the best.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
It's a guy. Yes, yes, Julius is a guy. Really gender of him, yeah, I know, right?
I heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Of course he has blue hair and pronouns.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
Among Us?
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
You know who he looks like? Oh my god. Wait, I need to remember which. He looks like Balin. The dwarf from The Hobbit. Look at him. There he is. They're the same man. Probably a bad picture, but you know what? Just like... there we go. Put that. Perfect.
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
The armor? Okay. I see where this is going.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The military leader only knows how to do one thing. Suppose.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question.
H.
Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eulus spoke?
Eulus, okay. Not Julius. Eulus. I can read.
Finished your war, Council?
Alizé, now is not the time for sass. The man is in distress.
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil.
I'm making a
They will be
mistake.
detained at a separate location.
I'm making a mistake. You are not in a position to be making this bargain.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
Oh man, you don't have to do it. Don't do it. Ugh.
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make.
Doesn't wanna. Everything will be alright. Have faith.
Get them out of here.
So yeah, Quintus is very much like the you know, the last remaining kind of remnant of like the brutal militaristic regime in this area. You know, he's still very much he is like Quintus is literally like the fragment of the Garlean Empire that they're still clinging to, and he's still harming them. You know, he's still doing things that are not within their interests, but rather his own. Just because that's just all he knows how to do. But yeah, Quintus is also not in this in any position to make that demand. Like he can't make this demand. Like it's just him and a few soldiers. It's him, a few soldiers, and a lot of civilians. Like a lot of dying civilians. That's all he's got. He's not in a position to make that demand. Like strategically. Alphino and Alizé will be fine, providing they do not resist. They elect to S. No, they're sleeping. It's a weird thing to look at Garlemald and their culture knowing who built and shaped it. Yep, it really is. Oh boy, is it. Emmett, you really screwed up on this one, buddy. I wonder if the Ascians, can forgive themselves. Namely, I wonder if the one Ascian that seemed to be sympathetic towards us can forgive himself. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionaries Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the Eel for further details. In those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. What do you want with me? Have you done the Gunbreaker quests? Nope. Ask the eel. The Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varys, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. She literally sounds tempered. She literally sounds tempered. Like, and that's entirely intentional. You again. Ask the eel, he said. So that's to be the way of it, after all this. Did he wipe a tear from his eye? How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. Those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. Are they suicide bombers? Because they don't think they're gonna live. Have you done as instructed? Their duties involve more than the transportation of supplies, don't they? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter. The place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. I love how unpopulated this area is as well. Like, enemies are so rare in this part of the... Like, in this part of the city. There's, like, so little around. Or maybe it just feels that way. Yeah, but also, like, going Unga Bunga apeshit as the Warrior of Light isn't gonna solve all of our problems. Just because we can subjugate everyone under our immense power and the blessing of light doesn't mean we should. But it'd be funny. I mean, I guess it would be funny. Says you. Shut up, Noga. What do you know? Nothing. Also, hi, Noga. Euless lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on. Hey, Galror. How's it going, man?
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate.
The radio did stop them from tempered. I guess they traded one tempering for another?
When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
No use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But she wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
The implication that the only bond between Garleans is the blood of the fallen, nothing else. Well, I mean, yes, their entire culture is war. Their culture is military and fighting and conquest and being conquered and conquering. So yeah, honestly, in the national faith of the Empire, yeah.
It's so cold.
Oh, Alice.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision.
Oh, no, open your eyes.
And when we fail to
Please.
live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum.
Yup.
Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos. Searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
I have a feeling something really awful is about to happen.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down.
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alice.
Oh, hey. Would you look at that? Oh, God, I'm crying. Actually, a little bit. A lot. Actually, yeah. A little lot.
The scouts have secured Alizé and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
But the Magitex. Marcy and Octavia.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Oh, Eulus, don't do this, man. Eulus.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
Ah, Jesus.
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop, both of you!
Okay, Rune.
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
Fuck it up, Rune. Okay.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea.
Okay. Alright.
Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure.
Well, the 4th is gone. Like, the 4th is... I don't know why the fuck they thought the 4th could help them, because the 4th Legion is just broke.
Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted.
Yeah, because there is no Empire anymore.
That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies. Every word.
The Empire's gone, man. Just let it go.
And I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Yeah, me too, man.
Inform her that we will honor the 10th decision.
Thank you, Ivy Blossom and Dream Dragon Mage, for following the stream. By the way, I hope you enjoy Mac's stream. Thank you so much. Oh, fuck you, dude. Your Empire's gone, okay? Just let it go.
I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity.
A fucking song again, dude. Just that dying out whisper of hope.
We are ghosts, you and I. Memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood. that I will not see tarnished.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm getting banned off of Twitch.tv today. Yeah, last stream, that's it. No more.
Quickly! We have to reach
Also,
the station
please,
before it's too
like,
late.
I know you guys are excited. Please don't say shit like this part, or like, oh, this bit's good, or oh, I've been waiting, or I'm excited for this, or oh, I loved this part before things have happened. It's irritating.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Well, about that. About that. Oh hey, now it's very much literally stained with the blood of the fallen. He's just... Sorry, I know this is like a really dramatic scene, but he's just doing the default, like the male hero dead pose. And I can't... Like the pose they picked is literally just like the flat on their face male MIDI death pose. And I just... Yeah, it's literally just a muffled caramel dancing pose. Oh my god. Hello, Zawawa. Oh, cool. Isn't that nice? Now I can get the orchestrion roll for the area. More and more has occurred since last we met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. Before you proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. They were preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry? A reckless, short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people they are sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we would only incite panic, but perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Eulus back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being I'll take what I can get. Alphino, Alizé, and the scouts sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I will also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. Oh, Eulus. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, how slow and intentional. Yeah, the animations of just... Yeah, I know, I fucking loved Lucia just being like, yeah, this is a terrible plan. This was an awful plan. Why did you do this? Oh wait, that was a blue quest. Blue quest, blue quest, blue quest. Oh, it's outside. Lucy's great. Rimmel Noah would like my opinion on something. Just what I'm looking for. Let me introduce myself. I'm Rimmel Noah Vishgard. I'm put in charge of our arrangement with Tapper's Den, you see. However, the very first of the Tappers to come bearing through them has asked quite a lot of us, if I do say so. They asked for our help in getting Juturna Platform G up and running. The very same platform that's at the head of the Imperial's primary energy pipeline. What's more, he's a Garlean. I was convinced the only engineers left in Tapper's Den were that from conquered territories. In any case, I'm not qualified to judge the motives of the man. I'd feel much more at ease if I had someone of your experience helping make the call. I thank you for your willingness to assist. Let us go and speak with the Tapper in question then. He is a man by the name of Appius. Do 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 do. Oh hey, it's Sickard and Emmanuel and Stefan. Do do. Suppose you must be the friend Rimmelno wants to fetch. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's me. I'm the warrior of light, bitch. Fuck your shit. Fuck your wife. Bing bong.
You have my thanks for getting him to agree to my proposal. Don't misunderstand. I have yet to agree to any such thing. I merely wanted someone else present during our talk. Very well, though I do believe my proffered deal would be a boon to us and the Ezelbar contingent alike. I used to work on Juturna Platform G, you see, so I know more than most about the facility and its operation. That may be so, but your relationship with the facility notwithstanding, why should a Garlean such as yourself still be taking refuge in Tapper's Den? Led to believe that the former workers residing there are from other territories. You're right on the technicality. I was a supervisor rather than your typical staff. When the platform went down, it only seemed right that I stay with my crew. I always thought we were close, but living alongside them in Tapper's Den has made me realize that I took them and their skills for granted, and that's to say nothing of the blind eye I turned to their struggles. That's why I came to you. It's high time I be of some real use to them, and everyone else if we're lucky. If we manage to get the platform back in working order, it'll dramatically increase our capacity to pump and refine ceruleum for everyone in the region. Sadly, we're more than a few hands short of a full workforce, not to mention the lack of supplies, which is precisely where you come in. Help us get things up and running again, and you'll have your share of the ceruleum coming out of the rig. You couldn't come up with a more mutually beneficial arrangement if you tried. So he says, what do you think? He seems trustworthy to me. Yes, I've been leaning the same way myself. Ultimately, what he says about the potential benefits is true. Nevertheless, I doubt the higher-ups would assent to this. I suppose that is how it goes when you're dealing with military types. For what it's worth, I do understand the hesitancy to throw your lot in with someone from a hostile nation. Thus, part 2 of my proposal. I shall do you a service to prove myself worthy of the contingent's trust. I had a look around the fringes of your camp before you arrived. I spotted a few ceruleum engines in need of repair. If I fix them up, your superiors would have no reason to suspect that I want to see you driven out. Less reason in any case. Assisting us with the use of local technology would go a long way, I'd imagine. That said, I've not heard anything about ceruleum engines we've scavenged breaking down. It's not as if they're entirely useless yet, but I guarantee they're not running as they should. Give me the opportunity and I can have them working more efficiently and safely. You're welcome to accompany while I do so. That way you can ensure that I don't get up to anything suspect. And then, vouch for me with your superiors. I have no objections. I trust you'll sense anything amiss. Nod. Let us begin with a proper inspection then. We can get to work as soon as you're ready, Belrally. I was going to say, how do you know my name? But then, I mean... I hate you to fumble and be accused of something. Sabotage. I appreciate if you could be the one to lay hands on devices. I'll be behind you telling you what to look for. If we inspect, say 3 of them, we should have a decent idea what needs to repair.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Whee!
Hey yo, where the ceruleum engines at? The fuck? Where they at? Huh? Huh? Nah. Oh wait, they are actually in the camp. Okay. I thought they were on the outskirts. There's my wife. Do 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 do. Please, my wife. I love you. Just returned from guarding the airships, and now I've got to keep an eye on the captured Imperials. Maybe a bit of chit-chat will help lighten the mood. It was a grave error not to post sentries farther from the camp. Had we seen the Garlings sooner, we would have slain them long before the truce was called. They engaged us of their own free will and deserve to die warriors' deaths. Even so, I have not forgotten why we are here. I will stay my hand for now. God. Sadly, please try not to go apeshit. Thank goodness the 10th decided to sue for peace when they did. Would have been spared more senseless bloodshed, which is the last thing anyone, including the First, needs. From their perspective, though, the promise of reinforcements was their last hope, and they have no choice but to capitulate to the invaders. But we will prove to them that not all is lost, and we yet stand a chance of casting out the Telephoroi. Even with their empire in ruins, the Garlings have not lost the will to fight. That strength shall serve them in the days to come. There is yet life in this cold soil. He's right. I guess. With guys with no condition to fight, sunken eyes, hollow cheeks, must have been a long time since they had a decent meal. Oh god, definitely. Probably a good thing we didn't fight them then, because we would have absolutely slaughtered them. Hello, Loop Garu. Welcome to Max Stream. Ah, there's one. Ah, there we go. There's the last one. Ah. Yeah. Touchy, touchy, touchy. Praise be to your deft hands. I have an idea of what a... Let's go speak to Mr. Man. How's Endwalker treating me? I've cried already. About at least twice, I think. And, let's just say, lately I find it a little bit difficult to cry because of some health reasons. Because of, hormone-related reasons. I'm finding crying a little difficult, so... Alas, I fear that each of those we examined are guaranteed to break down sooner or later should you continue using them in their current state. Surely you jest. I swear it on my integrity as an engineer. You're in dire need of instruction in the proper operation of ceruleum engines. You saw the little lamp light up when you touched the switch, correct? That only illuminates when there's an issue with the engine. They were switched off for want of fuel when the settlement was abandoned, no doubt, which prevented them from burning out. I mean, to let them free solid instead. Instead, your lot turned them on. In the state they're in, I can only assume it didn't occur to you to warm them up first. I noticed you have a heating technology of your own, but it will do you no good should the engines to power them break. Now will it? You'll have nothing to lose and everything to gain from my assistance. I am a machinist from frozen climes myself, and what you say sounds plausible. Very well, on behalf of the camp, I formally ask you to repair the ceruleum engines. I suppose that means I'll be taking responsibility if anything goes wrong. So you may as well use your own two hands this time. That's the spirit. I knew I'd come around. Yes, Mr. Shulk Xenoblade. Yeah, T's really fucking with me right now. He's doing one on my butt. But I mean, hey, Alphino and Alizé sitting together and chatting about, you know, how much Alizé believes in Alphino and how Alizé now has her own purpose to fight and everything. That did get me. And now this tiny little chonker shall carry me across the land. Oh god, I just said chonker, I'm so fucking cringe. Oh god, I just said cringe, I'm so fucking cringe. Just kidding, I'm a fucking legend. Absolute legend.
Keep us alive. Arrow spin.
Spin! Thank you, Holy Sock, so much for subscribing for 4 months. I hope you've been enjoying your time in Max Stream. Enjoy your emotes. Absolute legend. Fucking ledge. Absolute ledge. Absolute ledge. Literal cliff. Why don't we just, like, kill some of these sprites? Just kill these sprites and take their ceruleum. Take their ceruleum essence. Just put these in the generator. Just shove them in. Put them in the vacuum cleaner and it'll go. Actually makes it harder to cry. It doesn't, it just means that, like, generally it sets me back to a point mentally where I suppress a lot of my emotions subconsciously. And also the dysphoria generally makes it more difficult to feel things entirely. In their entirety, so feeling stuff is more difficult. And estrogen makes it a little bit easier because it alleviates some of the dysphoria, allowing my head more space and more of an ability to deal with how I feel and express my emotions externally. Not that tea necessarily makes it harder for someone to cry. It's a combination of factors. Well, Raleigh and Euless. We arrived here before you did, and too late. Too late for what? What's happened? It's Lord Quintus. He took his own life. After the news about the 10th, he relieved us of our duties. Then, when he was alone, he... No, he wouldn't. Tancred and the others, assisted by the soldiers, have seen to the remains. In due course shall the legatus be afforded a proper burial. Released us from our duty. He wanted us to be free to choose our own fate. Without him to guide us, I have just this moment spoken with Lucia. We're ready to commence the transfer of the refugees here to Camp Broken Glass, should they be willing to accept our aid. Some would rather die. But most of us just want to live. Songs and standards be damned, we just want to live. We'll need to speak with the refugees. They'll have to decide for themselves if they wish to come with us. If any would prefer to stay, we can have supplies brought over for them. It'll be a hard journey for the others, but we will see they reach our camp safely. Aye. I think that we'd have ended up taking the First Legion themselves, or what remains of them, into our care. Not so long ago, such a thing would have been inconceivable, but these are strange times indeed. After what happened to his family, the first was all Eulers had left. Now even that's been taken away from him. He's not alone in that either. There's a comfort in having someone to follow, someone to lead. Pain! Hello, Estinian. I know not how to offer encouragement or solace to these poor souls, but if it's safe passage to our camp they need, I'd gladly oblige. Can I tune to this now? I can. Wait, maybe I should ask first. I'm still trying to get this aetherite working again. If nothing else, we might be able to reach the other parts of the city to scavenge for provisions. Okay, well, I'm going to use it. I'm going to attune to it. Oh my god, the car where Flavius was is closed. Or is it? Wait, or is that over here? Oh, I know it was over here. Guardians are ability to manipulate ether with the same suspicions that many Eorzeans do Magitech. At least the pain proves I'm not dead yet. That's true. Well, Flavius is still alive, at the very least. It was only ever a dream, wasn't it? To think we could reclaim it, rebuild it all ourselves. Before all this began, I sent my wife and daughter away to the provinces. If there's a chance I might see them again, I'll take it. So take me with you, please. Well, got the aetherite sorted in the end. All it took was a few adjustments and now it works as well as it ever did. From what I can tell, the one in Lantarum is also functioning as normal. That's where you lot are staying, isn't it? Now that most of us are packing up and leaving this place, I reckon there'll be more use for me and my skills over at your camp. Yes, Flavius. It's you, the one who treated me with such kindness. I heard from the others you're not from around here. I thought you were one of us, not that it makes much difference now. Purebloods, migrants, savages, after a while the words start to lose meaning until all you're left with is anger and fear and hate, and I'm too tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, I'll be glad to accept. Okay, we can do some quests here in a bit. I assume these quests will stick around. I'm interested to do some side quests. I might do some side quests off stream. I'll do some side quests here off stream. We have much to discuss. The rescue, the attack on Camp Broken Glass, what we'd hoped to talk about with Quintus. But all of that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are any of the refugees willing to come to our camp? Yes. Like the 12. Thank the 12. You and I should go first and secure the road back to Camp Broken Glass. With all the creatures and tempered skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Conqueror's Chain, courtesy of our Leminson friends. I'd save it for the tempered, though. I'll mark a few points that need surveying on your map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet back at our camp. Conqueror's Chain. Ethereally treated chain capable of binding even the wriggliest of opponents. Ah. Oh hey, it's Midgar Stormir. Hey Midi. I can take you to see your long-lost son if you want. If you'd like, I could take you to see him. I know where Vetra is. Blue hair, of course you have blue hair and pronouns. Refuge, like wailing or sobbing. He's running hell forever. Oh no. Oh jeez. I bet he went back to the playground or something. He probably tried to return to our house to the north of Platinum Novum. Try there first before anyone else. Love his hair and all. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Really weird, like, riding a bird mount and not being able to fly. They plan to trap, bro. No, he's the wiggliest, not the wriggliest. There's a difference. There's a key difference in technique. I got the two landmarks. I got the 2 locations. I got double the XP. Let's go. Find a way in here. Ah, there you are. Hey! You leave him alone. You creep. You will die now. Another block street. Who are you? I'm you, but cooler. Mother sent you? I won't go to the enemy's camp. I'm going home. Okay, well. Well. Obstreperous youth. Stop following me. Balrali does not know how to handle children. Okay. Okay, I shall simply pretend not to follow him. I'm a master of stealth. Stealth. They really wanted to try out this new, like, way of doing side quests, huh? Sneeda. I'm still in a dream, Sneeder. Sneed. Must have been the wind. Yes. Of course, the wind. Notably sounds like footsteps. Okay, so I gotta follow this little child home. Oblivion NPC. You know, I've never actually played Oblivion. Like, I've played it a few times, but I've never played it. Like, I've never actually gotten into a playthrough before. Skyrim Shuffle. Skyrim Shuffle. You can't do the Skyrim Shuffle. I can teach you. Teach you. Here's a tissue for your pants, cause you're wet. For your pants, cause you're wet. Ooh. I'll do the Skyrim Shuffle behind this fucking collapsed bus, please. Who just leveled up? Oh, it's you. Were you trying to tickle me? Take a step back. Now to the left, to the left. To the right, to the right. Now twirl, honey, twirl. Now twirl, honey, twirl. I've watched those videos a few too many times, in case that wasn't obvious. Despite the fact that some of that humor has not aged particularly well. We are men, manly men. Manly, 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 manly men. No, home, it was right here. Oh, don't get sad now. Ow. Dick. Hey, no, kid, get out of the way. Don't stand in the AoE. Oh no! Ugh. Gonna build a new house bigger and better than the old one. Oh, for God's sake. Though this may be construed as a particularly tiresome endeavor, remember that he is only a child and knows no better. Oh God. It wasn't that long ago. A lot of it was bad when he made it, sadly. Yeah, you're right, to be honest. Yeah, that is true. A lot of it was bad. I was just also bad. Yeah, it really was just like, it was a lot of that, that early 2000s edgy humor that just kind of persisted despite everyone's best wishes. Or that late 2000s, I should say. Not early 2000s. Late 2000s, early 2010s edgy humor. Yes, fuck off back to the station, you little shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. These kids, they're not alright. Oh, great. Now I'm fucking lost. Now I'm lost in the source. What is happening to me? Oh, God. Wait, I can just teleport back. I don't have to do this. I don't even have to do this. I can just go back. I was wondering when I could see you again. I'm happy to report my son has returned. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh. These side quests. Gonna be the death of me. Hey Rustic, how's it going, man? I'm hopping away on my little gazelle now. Goodbye. How's Garlemald? Sucks. Hate it here. I went through some very, very lengthy discussion about how this entire area, this whole arc is presenting what happens to an empire that's entire culture is war and conquest after they lose. As well as generally getting mad at people on Twitter for trying to say that this shit was apologist. You know, war is hell, the usual. I don't understand how meditate works now. Or the meditation stacks work. So you don't get one from the Tsubami anymore. But do you not get one from Setsugeka? Or did I get one and I had two, or I had one and then I got another? Or am I just stupid? Because it feels like overall I get less Shoha than I used to. It's hard for have any sympathy for people who tell you to your face they hope the Empire returns, they can enslave you. But this entire bit, that doesn't mean it's apologist though. Just because they say that doesn't mean that they're apologizing for that. Or saying that that's okay. It's not about sympathy. Like, it's not about whether or not you can have sympathy. You should have sympathy, because these are people that have grown up in a homogenous culture. The only thing that is celebrated within it is military occupation and conquest. And now all of that is gone and they have literally nothing left. They are clinging like desperately to the remnants of the only culture they've ever known. and a culture that did absolutely nothing for them and is actively hurting them, like, to continue to cling to. Like, it's actively hurting them. This whole sequence is an indictment of the Empire. It's literally saying that it hurt everyone. The Empire was good for absolutely nobody. That's what this whole bit is saying. Like, not even its own people. You know? And it's like, even then, if you really can't have sympathy for them, that still doesn't mean that it's being apologist. Just because it is evoking sympathy that you're not willing to give, that doesn't mean it's saying the Empire was good, or trying to say that the Empire, the Garlean Empire, was any, you know, was somehow less bad. If anything, it's worse, because it literally benefited no one. Look around. This is what's left. Like, the only thing that is left is metal and snow. Like, the Empire broke itself within days and left all of its people either enthralled, like slaves to its will, or left them to freeze to death. You know? These are citizens. They're citizens. They're not soldiers, they're citizens. Like, yeah, it sucks that they, you know, call us savages, but like, we know that's not true, and they've lost. You know? Like, they're grieving. They're grieving for something that was shitty and abusive, but like, it's not, like, the story being told here is not, man, the Empire sure wasn't that bad, huh? We should feel bad about fighting them. It's like, no, at no point are our actions ever called into question. The fact of the matter is, war fucking sucks. Like, war sucks. War is hell. Like, war is hell. That's what this whole thing is saying, is that war is absolute hell, and absolutely nothing good came of it. Like... Nothing good came of the Garlean Empire at all. Like, if the hot take of war sucks no matter what side of it you're on is like somehow an apologistic perspective, like, then I'm sorry to say that, like, read a book. Like, please. You know? Read a book. Like, war, like, the ultimate message, I think, of the war is that of this whole, like, arc is that the whole... You gotta give me like, most people think we do with race supremacist fascists. Yeah, but these aren't the fascists. These are just civilians. Like, they're civilians brought up in a entirely homogenous culture. Like, they are as tempered as the tempered. Just a different kind. They are tempered in all but name. The thing is, you do extend the olive branch. The time for compassion, I said this earlier, but the time for compassion for even an empire like the Garleans is not during Alamigo. It's not during Bosja. You know, it's not during Dalmasca. But look, there is no more empire. There isn't one. It's gone. They lost. They destroyed themselves. You know? They destroyed themselves, and now people that kind of had absolutely nothing to do with it are just dying. You know, or people that, like, were just indoctrinated into thinking that the right thing to do was fight for their country, which, like, the entire American US military. You know? Like, the time for compassion is this time. Like, it's over. They've lost. There is no Garlean Empire anymore. There's just the Telephoroi, and there's like the broken legions that don't even that are just clinging to like that are having their entire world fall apart around them. You know? I know it's easy and cathartic to say that you shouldn't, or that, like, you know, your oppressors deserve no mercy. And in the case of when you're fighting them, yeah, you don't hold back. But there's no more fighting. The fighting's over. The Empire destroyed itself. We won. You know, like we won for all intents and purposes. Now is the time that you extend the hand. Because if you don't extend the hand and you just seek to punish and punish and punish, you get the Second World War again. Like literally just look at history. That's what happened. You know, I'm not asking people to forgive cops. Like, I'm asking people to try to see the story that's being told here. You know? Me saying that, like, yeah, actually, the citizens of Garlemald that were born into this, like, horrific, oppressive empire and taught that they were the best and then have now watched it all crumble around them, yeah, they're gonna have some baggage. I'm not asking, like, you know, I'm not saying, yeah, you should actually forgive, you know, the people that oppress you in real life. Like, this is a story. Have some compassion. Like, it's... You know, they've lost. We have nothing left to take from them. I know that people love to moral grandstand about the fucking Garlean Empire, but it's bullshit. It's fiction. It's mythic storytelling. It's myth. It's fantasy. It's just they're a caricature of the Holy Roman Empire that is now being used to explore the intricacies of what happens when authoritarianism dies and kills itself. Literally, authoritarianism killed itself. Quintus was meant to, like, represent the, like, last remaining shred of that just cold, unforgiving, brutal, authoritarian regime, and he literally killed himself. Like, if Quintus was meant to represent the Empire, Quintus's death represents how the Empire fell. It killed itself. Just commenting on it as an allegory for our, but it's not an allegory for our world. It's not an allegory for specific, like, it's not. Like, it's meant to be more general than that. It's not meant to be an allegory for a specific conflict. It's a more general. It's a metaphor. It's a more general reading. You know, it's not about there's a difference between like helping the starving citizens of the country that you just went to war with and beat versus, you know, not allowing say, the publishing of their ideas that led to that conflict, that led to that regime in, you know, political treaties or books. You know? There's a difference between like the individuals that live within a society and the more collective kind of society. You know? Like this entire arc is such a scathing criticism of imperialism. I don't understand, like I physically cannot see how people are reading it as apologist. Because it just isn't. Like, literally, it's presenting the Empire as the worst thing to happen. And yes, the people left over from it aren't all good people, but they deserve your help anyway. Like, they deserve your compassion anyway. Because they are just as tempered as the Telophoroi, just a different way. Like, they are tempered in all but name. And the thing is, we didn't get, and to comment on the real-life allegory, we didn't get a global white supremacist movement from not stamping out Nazism. Nazism came from white supremacy already existing. Like, just because they copied a few symbols, some fringe groups copied a few symbols, it doesn't just end with Nazism. White supremacy predates that shit hundreds of years. You get global white supremacist movements from globally white supremacist societies. Like... If anything, and also, like, they actually did draw attention to the fact that Garlean's rhetoric and Sharlayan's rhetoric are both similar. Like, extremely similar. Because it goes beyond just one nation, you know? It goes beyond just one nation. It's like the problems are baked into many societies around, like, especially the most powerful ones, because we're not a fringe group of rebels, you know? Like, we're not the fucking Viet Cong. Like, we are nations and states with militaries and, like, conquered territories of their own. You know? Like, it's very much saying, like, yeah, no, like, the problems that Garlemald has also are present in other nations. Alisaie literally says it with her mouth that Sharlayan has some scary similarities to the way Garlemald talks about itself. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand how people why people miss these things. Why people miss these things and then blame the game for asking them to be sympathetic towards civilians caught in a war. Like, I mean, like, Sharlayan and Garlemald are both extremely colonialist places. Like, but Sharlayan does more of like a sociological colonialism, right, where Garlemald does more of a martial colonialism. Like, it evokes it spreads it spreads throughout the world. Like, Garlemald uses military might, where Sharlayan uses, you know, quote unquote, the pursuit of knowledge by kind of taking bits of cultures and then just putting them away in small boxes to be kept for later and studied like little trinkets, and generally, like, considering their own way of doing science and study as superior to everything else. The British Museum. Yeah, basically. Yeah, pretty much. But like Sharlayan, they take they take all of their inspirations, like, you know, very clearly off of the way in which ancient Greece is depicted. Ancient Greece, which is seen as kind of the birthplace of like honestly, if you want to point to where a lot of like some white supremacist shit comes from, you can look at the way in which people from particularly, you know, people from the West view ancient Greece as kind of the birthplace of like Western intellectualism. And seeing that as kind of like the gold standard for like how to do discourse and how to think about, like, how to study the world and how to perceive it and write about it and catalog it. Like, it's an extremely, it's pretty colonialist. Like, looking at that from like a post-colonial lens is like, it's like, oh shit, we do just straight up like subliminally think that like the way in which, you know, this idyllic version of ancient Greece did philosophy is like the superior way to do it, is just the way it is done. And we don't consider other relationships that we could have with philosophy. And that's what Sharlayan does. Sharlayan just spreads its little tendrils all about the world, being like, our way is the best way to pursue knowledge. However, they pursue knowledge in a way that is extremely disconnected from nature, viewing themselves as separate from all that is, viewing and like cataloging, you know, studying and cataloging other cultures as kind of these quaint aberrations from the norm that is their culture. Compare that to how Thavnir does alchemy, where Thavnir has, like, literally, fucking Ishtola. In Thavnir, Ishtola is, you know, one of the smartest people on the Scions, like one of the most learned people we know. She had no idea what the fuck Nidana was talking about when Nidana, like, invoked very basic Thavnarian alchemy. What's the word? Principles. Alchemic principles from Thavnir. Ishtola was like, I've never heard that term. You have to tell me about it. Ishtola has a good mindset because she wants to learn. Like, she hears about that and she's like, holy shit, that's awesome. Even though it rubs against the fundamental way in which she views the world. Whereas, like, you know, Sharlayan never bothered to teach that, because Sharlayan believes that their way of looking at the world and doing science is the superior method, and just ignores what Thavnir has, even though there is merit to what Thavnir have. Which is very reflective of how we view our own intellectualism. Like, as Western, like, we view ourselves as very separate from nature. We view, like, you know, we view living within nature as a more kind of primal and like more of a backstep. And the more separated from nature we become with technology, the better we are doing at intellect and science and everything. And, you know, we have this very clinical, disjointed view of like our place in the world and how we study it. And it's the same. Like, Sharlayan is supposed to represent like this idea of like Western intellectualism, like supremacy. It's all there. It's all there. I'm doing very deep, like, post-colonial readings of fucking of this stupid video game where you can play a cat boy in a frog suit. What have you got me doing? This is the same game where I can go and I can play mahjong for 7 hours as a cat girl wearing a chocobo head. I can climb to the tallest peak of the land and stand on top of it and do a silly little dance. And I can just AFK. And yet y'all have got me here taking 2.5 fucking hours to do like 4 quests. Because I can't stop talking. Fuck. God. You're killing me here. Thought-provoking is something video games should do more of. Yeah, but it's more like I'm having to provoke thoughts to stop, to like try to counter the dumb shit people are saying that doesn't make any sense about this game. And, you know, it's making me mad that I have to do that. It sucks that this is live. I mean, this isn't live. This, like, you might be watching this on YouTube, for example, which, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, hello. Post a comment saying hi, hello, if you're still watching, please. I need to know that someone's out there. No, just kidding. But, like, I'll probably turn a lot of this playthrough into its own video, because, not only because it's Endwalker and it's interesting, and, you know, people like reaction content, but also because, like, a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about here. There is a lot to talk about. And I've done a lot of talking, and I kind of want to preserve it somehow, because I feel like I've, like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I generally do say things that are, you know, worth listening to. And, that generally I do have a take occasionally that is good, and that you know, I've kind of earned the benefit of the doubt, considering that this is literally what I do for my job. Is I get really like I get way in too deep about shit, and then I tell a funny dick joke. And so it's just like the Endwalker playthrough video is gonna be just like, it's gonna be like 45 minutes per part, and like none of it's gonna be funny. Absolutely none of it's gonna be funny. It's like, come to the Max Poetic streams where we have, you know, we have funny haha pee pee poo poo jokes, and also I say just, I go on like, you know, 20-minute long rants about the way in which authoritarianism is like, I could write a fucking thesis about this. Maybe I should. It's like a video documentary analysis. Like, here's the thing. Long-time viewers will remember that I did actually used to do video essay content. Now, I would like to say that I still do, but every time I sit down to try to write one, I get really bored, because writing video essays takes a long time, and I have undiagnosed, unmedicated ADHD, so I cannot do it for very long before I forget that it exists and my brain moves on to something else. You know, I am one of these days. I posted about this on Patreon. I made a post called the ADHD Graveyard, which is where I'm just gonna compile a lot of like the video ideas that I started doing and then just scrapped because I just lost interest, because I literally have to just go with what interests me at the time, because like I can't force myself to work on things that I don't want to work on. Like, you know, if somebody else was telling me to do it and I was like getting paid a salary, I'd do it, but like it's, you know, it's my thing, and it does mean that like a lot of that time gets wasted, and I think that's a shame. So I kind of want to put together like some of the unfinished ideas into like a few compilations, if you like. So I can do like a compilation of like funnier videos that I just gave up on editing because I got bored with them, like stream highlight videos, and then like a compilation of video essay ideas that just got abandoned. Currently, I'm actually writing a video essay, interestingly. I'm going to end stream soon, which is why I'm not really talking about the story anymore. But I did start writing this morning. I started jotting down things that stuck out to me this year that I could talk about in like a best of 2021 video. Like a, you know, just not like a top 5 or anything, just like a things this year that were good. Things what I liked in 2021. And I can actually read it to you guys now. And if you guys think of anything that like was good, like I might not necessarily have played it or seen it, but like it might prompt me to think of something else. Because so far I've got Boyfriend Dungeon, I've got Endwalker, Arcane, pretty much everything that Calliope Mori did this year in terms of music. The Quinton Reviews 15-hour Nickelodeon video essay saga, Stone Ocean, the Yakuza series, which didn't happen this year, but it happened to me this year. Like, I got into Yakuza this year. Deltarune Chapter 2, and the fact that Lil Nas X dropped 2 of, like, the hardest fucking bangers I've ever heard in my life in the same year. And I'm like, that's too many for one. I think I have enough, like, games in there where I can, you know, talk about, or like I have enough like nerd culture in there where like the, you know, isn't, because I think people generally would be more interested to hear what I say about, you know, more nerdy shit rather than like you know, like why I fucking love everything that Lil Nas X did this year in terms of music, or you know, like something like that. But you know, certainly, like, if I talk about, you know, Endwalker, Arcane, Stone Ocean, Deltarune, Yakuza, people will probably be interested in that. And also an NFT. Wait, did Lil Nas X actually do an NFT? Did he, like, actually do one? Or was one made of him? I say with bated breath as I wait for a chat to answer. In fear. Yeah, I was gonna say, he seems like his finger is too much on the pulse of, you know, not doing stupid shit that he wouldn't just, you know, do. Also, I'm gonna take like a break from MSQ for a bit. I might still play 14, but it'll mostly be like leveling gatherers and crafters and shit. Primarily just so that I don't get too far ahead of some folks that I would rather not be like too far ahead of. Just, you know, I don't know. I like being generally caught up with like where people who are close to me are at. I know most people I know have finished the MSQ already, but I don't want to rush through it, and I want to take my time and, you know, not play myself through to just not wanting to play it anymore, like but rather like stopping at certain points where I feel like I'm, you know, I still like, you know, leaving myself wanting more is what I'm trying to say. TikTok and Lil Nas X will no longer be released. He had plans to. Oh no. Oh no. God, I mean, ugh, everyone's just falling for the pyramid scheme, huh? Anyway. Anyway, if you're not following the channel, please consider following. It does actually help. It's the only metric that matters on Twitch, is how many followers you're still gaining, as long as you keep streaming. And if you want to subscribe, you should do that too, because you have some cool emotes. Like this one of a slime. Like this one of a Dragon Quest slime being happy. Look at him. He's so happy. Don't you want to be as happy as that slime? You can be as happy as that slime if you simply use your Twitch Prime sub, which is free on max.poetic.com. Anyway. Also, if you want to support the channel further, you can support me on Patreon. The link is below the chat thing. I'm gonna fucking die now because I talked for like 3 hours non-stop. And just talked passionately about this stupid fucking Final Fantasy game. Oh shit, Darkstorm Sean, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. Oh god, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That actually is very, very generous of you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. That is really, really appreciated. Because yeah, gift subs do help, because like people get a gift sub and then that makes them like check out the stream more, and then they're more likely to like subscribe again in the future. It's a really weird thing, and it feels kind of manipulative, but you know what? It works, and it means I can keep doing this. So I'll take it. But thank you, seriously. It's really, really helpful. It does help out the channel a lot. So I'm not going to stream tomorrow. I know my schedule said that I was streaming every day this week except Sunday, but I'm not going to be streaming on tomorrow on Wednesday, because I have plans with some friends for pre-Christmas stuff, because Christmas is a very busy time and we all want to hang out before Christmas, one last time before Christmas, before everyone has to go and do family things, and also like COVID lockdown and restrictions and stuff. So, you know, we want to like get shit done while we still can, because otherwise we'll miss each other. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm taking tomorrow off to do that. Thursday, hopefully Divinity. Probably not more MSQ, depends on how I feel. If I feel like I'm missing playing MSQ, I'll play some, but I also, you know, there's Apex, League stuff I want to do in general, Judgment as well, which I gave up on today because I just really want to play MSQ. Yeah. Anything else? Is there anything else? Subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't. Join my Discord. Yes. Okay, that's it.
Okay, bye. Bye bye. Bye bye, guys. Be good.